Welcome to Madlet Musings, the podcast where we dive into the minds of authors, exploring the profound realms of faith, social issues, and the delightful world of entertainment. I'm your host, Jaime Jo Wright, and on this literary journey, you never quite know what you're going to get. Hey there, Madlet enthusiasts. Our podcast is sponsored by the esteemed Baker Publishing Group. Whether you're into heartwarming romance, gripping suspense, or deep dives into matters of faith and society, Baker Publishing Group has it all. With Revell and Bethany House publishers under their umbrella, they bring you a diverse array of books that will captivate your mind and stir your soul. Check out all of their line at www.bakerbookhouse.com. Hey everyone, it's Jaime Jo Wright here at Madlet Musings. And today I have back with us in the studio, because that sounds so professional, but really we're states away from each other. I have Liz Johnson. Hey Liz.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here, Jaime.
It's so much fun. I love having you on, and I'm excited because today we get to chat about a new Christmas novel and probably more chats about P.E. Island and all of that fun stuff. And as usual, the listeners can just kind of eavesdrop because that's what we do here. We just chill and eavesdrop.
I love it.
Isn't that great?
I love it.
All right. So it is, we're recording this in September, and this is going to air fairly quickly. Why do Christmas books release in September?
Oh my gosh. This is a really important question, I think, and one that I have never heard a really good answer for. So I have this theory, and I could be way off here, but I have this theory that most traditionally published novels in the past, many years ago, when the traditional model was that your book got about 90 days of like promotion and push and get it out there, have it on bookstore shelves. And then after those 90 days, it just sort of floats away.
Okay.
And unless you have something amazing happen or something unexpected happens, the book goes to what's called backlist.
Right.
And it no longer is getting active promotion.
Right.
And so that was like the old model of publishing. And I think that a lot of traditional publishers still sort of live in that model. And so I think that the idea is, hey, we want to give this a solid 3 months of promotion.
Okay.
So if we promote it starting in September, then that gets us right up to Christmas. And then come January, it will be backlist and everybody will forget about it, except the author and hopefully the readers who loved it and will carry it in their hearts.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. I wasn't sure if there was like this, because, there's the whole Christmas in July push.
Yes.
Like on the Hallmark channel. And I was like, is there something that I'm not aware of with readers where September's the month to read Christmas books? Or it's I think you're right. That makes sense.
Whole, 3-month model of 90 days or thereabouts. Okay. And you want to make sure that it's out there and available and people hear about it in time for Christmas. Yeah. Because come November, that's when people are like, I'm putting on my Christmas tree. I'm putting up my decorations. I have the holiday parties. I'm really getting in the mood. And you want to make sure that the book is already in their hands in time for that.
True.
And so, and once again, this is, we're talking about an old model. This is before ebooks where you can order the book and instantly have it in your hands.
Right.
And have it on your e-reader or your phone or whatever you read on. So yeah.
It does make sense though, because if you're going to be promoting like a paperback book, you don't want to roll it out in December, which would be cool from one standpoint because it's Christmas. Right. But then promoting it in January and February seems a little bit redundant.
Yes.
Like Christmas is over. We've moved on.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear, I'm not personally one of these people, but I hear there are people out there who do their Christmas shopping, starting in the summer or sometimes all year long. And so if you have a reader on your list and you're thinking, oh, I'd really like to get them a Christmas book, you may already be thinking about that in, not December.
Right.
I am only thinking about that in December because I'm one of the men that panic,
right.
Gotta finish my shopping. But but it just gives it more time to sort of ramp up. But I always think it's funny because, like as authors, we want a huge launch weekend or week. Like we just
Yeah.
want to feel like, oh, there's lots of conversation. But it's so weird because nobody's like, oh, I can't wait to talk about Christmas books in September.
I know. It's like the trees haven't turned yet and the pumpkins are still ripening.
Yes.
Let's talk about Christmas.
And I live in the Arizona desert
Oh,
where it
geez.
was 112 degrees yesterday. And
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
well,
Yeah.
oh well.
That doesn't put you in the vibe. But because you have a Christmas book out,
Mhm.
do tell us the title. Tell us what
Yes.
it's about. And while she does that, everybody can go get your cup of peppermint hot cocoa and turn on some little Christmas bells or something.
Yes. So I happen to have a copy handy. My
Love
book
it.
is Meddling with Mistletoe, and it is a Red Door Inn Christmas story.
Okay, I love
Yeah.
that. Now, Red Door Inn, for readers who aren't familiar with your books, give us just a brief background as to why that's important.
Yes. So the Red Door Inn is a fictional inn that I created, and the book The Red Door Inn
Hmm.
came out in 2016. It was a bestseller and a Christie Award finalist, and it was just a highlight of my publishing career,
Oh, I bet.
mostly
Yeah.
because I fell in love with the characters.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with the inn. And it is this inn on the north shore of Prince Edward Island in Canada, home of Anne of Green Gables. And it just was a delight. And so I keep going back to the Red Door Inn because I loved it so much. So I wrote 3 books set at the Red Door Inn. And
Hmm.
then my publisher came to me a couple years ago and said, hey, would you be interested in writing a Christmas book at the Red Door Inn? And I was like, yes, I would. Yes,
Yes,
very much.
please.
Um,
Absolutely.
and so this was such a treat to get to go back because it's been several books since I wrote a book set at the Red Door Inn.
Okay.
But it was so fun because the characters are familiar and yet they've grown and changed. And couples from um, the Red Door
Hmm.
Inn series, they're married now with kids and like their lives are growing. And so now all of a
Yeah.
sudden the kids are showing up in this book. And it just was so fun to revisit them and see how they've grown and what their lives are like, but
Hmm.
also to introduce you to new characters who are,
Yeah.
discovering the same things about the Red Door Inn that the original series characters found, which is
Hmm.
that it's a place to find healing.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember reading The Red Door Inn. I remember that. I remember where I was. I was at my
Oh, wow.
parents' house. Isn't that weird? How
That is
certain
weird.
books can bring back specific um sensory
Yes.
images and
Yes.
memories. And I remember I was sitting in my mom's chair in the living room and I was reading it and she was asking me questions and I was giving her half answers because I was so involved in the book.
Yes. Yes. Yes,
Oh,
I have moments like that.
yeah. Yeah, that's fun. That's awesome. And so you have the Red Door Inn is set in Prince Edward Island,
Yes.
which is, if people are familiar with Anne of Green Gables, it's kind of
Mhm.
notorious for that. But this isn't an Anne of Green Gables playoff or spinoff, correct?
No, no, it's completely original.
Hmm.
I visited Prince Edward Island for the first time in 2010, and I
Hmm.
keep going back because I love it so much.
Yeah.
But the island inspired the book. I
Okay.
went to the island because of Anne the first time
Sure.
because, I mean, I grew up on the
Right.
Megan Follows,
Hmm.
Anne of Green Gables series, and I read the books in college. And so it was like, I loved Anne, and that's why I went to PEI, but PEI has a personality all its own,
Yeah.
totally apart from Anne.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, so I keep writing about it because I love the people and I love the
Yeah.
place. And I just want to, well, I joke that I feel like part of my job should be working for the PEI tourism board because my whole goal is just to get people to visit.
Well, you did. Didn't you just take a trip there this summer with a bunch
Yeah.
of readers?
Yes. Oh my word. Yes. We had so much fun. So there were 12 readers plus my mom and I and our tour director and our bus driver.
Oh, fun.
And we tooled around the whole island and well, we didn't see the whole island, but we saw a lot
Hmm.
in a week.
Hmm.
And we
Yeah.
were busy and we went to lighthouses and beaches and floating boardwalks over migrating sand dunes. And we just we just had the best experience. It was
Yeah.
so much fun, and it was so, so special to share it with readers, to get to see it through their eyes for the first
Mhm.
time. We
Mhm.
visited the towns where we visited North Rustico, where Meddling with Mistletoe is set, and where the
Okay.
Red Door Inn originally came to my mind,
Mhm.
and it was so fun to be able to point to, like, "This is where I think it is,"
Oh,
even
that's
though
so cool.
there's a presidential home there, but this is really
Yeah.
where it is.
Yeah, yeah, like,
Yeah,
tear the
yeah,
home down, put the red door
yeah.
in here, and that's perfect.
Yeah. Or just
Perfect.
like slide the homes and we'll just, anyway, so yeah, so it was so fun to get to visit the island again
Uh-huh.
with the um yeah, just seeing it through the eyes of readers who had never been there and
Yeah,
who had, read my books and were able to really imagine, and just
right.
to help them sort of be like, "Oh, this is where, the boat would be docked," or "This is where,
Mhm.
just this is the lighthouse where I imagine that they did XYZ."
Yeah.
Anyway, and
Yeah.
so, yeah, it was so fun. We had such a blast. And it was just a really special time of encouragement for me. Like, I
Mhm.
think as an author, it's so easy just to, we get in our lane and we're like, and it's so solitary. We're writing by ourselves. And even if we have writer friends, sometimes we forget how much we need like words of encouragement,
Yeah.
just to like, oh, that's right. Like, this is why I do what I do.
Mhm.
And to be reminded that, oh, our books are, hopefully encouraging people and reminding them how much God loves them and drawing them closer to Him. Like, those are things that like I forget sometimes I need to hear. And just
Right.
spending time with readers this summer was just so special for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're a listener and you're a reader, like, please hear me when I say that the author of the book that you're reading needs to hear from you. Like, they are they are
It is
doubting
true.
themselves, they're questioning, they're
Yep.
wondering, like, is what I'm doing making a difference? And so if
Right.
you've read a book that just, touched you recently, like,
Mhm.
just shoot them an email, shoot them a Facebook message,
Yep.
just a DM in Instagram, something to say like, "Hey, I really appreciated your book." And you have no idea the impact that can have.
Right, right. Even if the author can't respond, because sometimes they
Yes,
get lots of
yes,
responses or they're just super busy because they work full-time jobs.
yeah,
They're trying to
or on,
balance life with writing a novel.
yes, or they're on book deadline and
Or
they're
yeah, a book
busy,
deadline.
you know.
Yeah.
But that is, yeah, it's such an incredible boon to to get
Yeah.
to hear from readers, and so
Yeah.
to get to do that in person and share the island with them this summer was beyond my expectations, and I just was so delighted. And the group of ladies, mostly ladies, there were a couple
Mhm.
guys, couple
Sure.
husbands,
Yep.
um, that were like, it was just like God handpicked them to come
That's
together, and it
cool.
was so sweet to see them. And I love this about the Christian fiction reading community,
Mhm.
is just how encouraging they are to each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I loved it. One of the ladies on our trip was, she was scared of heights, but she really
Okay.
loved lighthouses.
Oh.
And she was like, "I wanna make it to the top." And so we were like, "You can
Oh.
do it." And this other lady on the tour just said, "Let me be your buddy. Like, I will walk right behind you. I will make
Oh.
sure you don't fall. I will, like, let's get you up to the top." And it
Yeah.
just to watch them sort of come together
Mhm.
and care about each other, and knowing that the only thing that brought them together was a love of reading Christian fiction,
Yeah, isn't
was
that
like,
great?
that it was so special.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool. I love the bond that readers can have. Like, you can be from completely different realms, really,
Yes.
as readers, and you get readers in a room and you find one book, doesn't matter what it is, but one book that they have in common that they really
Yes.
like, and all of a sudden conversation just flows.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
so
Well,
cool.
and it was so fun to hear them share about, like, "Oh, who are the other authors that you're reading?" Like, "Oh, I don't know them. Let me look up their
Oh
books. Oh,
yeah.
and
Yep.
so for them to be recommending books to each other and to
Hmm.
see, like, just the joy and the delight of story,
Yeah.
uh, was really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. That's so cool. That's so cool. So meddling with the mistletoe or under the mistletoe?
With
Or
mistletoe.
with
Meddling with
meddling with
mistletoe.
mistletoe. Okay,
Mhm.
meddling with mistletoe is
Yep.
the title. So what is the premise of this novel? We obviously have Christmas, but there's more to it than
Yes.
that.
Yes. So, when I started writing this book, my big question was, what if you have a matchmaker who's not good at matchmaking? Um,
I love it
She
already.
she thinks she is.
Yeah.
Um, and that character is Aretha Franklin, who was in the Red Door Inn series, and she makes a return. She's an aunt, and her nephew is coming to help her sell her antique store. And so Aretha decides her nephew has been single for too long and he's kind of sad. He's a little bit grumpy, and she wants him to have a happy life.
Okay.
And the thing that he needs is a spouse. And so she is going to find him one.
Oh
Um,
my.
and so she sets out to pair him with he's in finance. He's a CFO,
Mm-hmm.
about to start a new job as a CFO. And so she is going to pair him with a businesswoman who's also in town.
Okay.
And she's like, this is going to be great. I'm going to set them up. And so she decides to wrangle Whitney. Um, the nephew's name is Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Aretha decides she's going to wrangle Whitney, who is another young lady who is nannying the kids at the inn,
Okay.
and also making breakfast there at the inn.
Mm-hmm.
And so Aretha's going to get Whitney to help her set Daniel and this other woman up. But the problem is that the more time Whitney spends with Daniel, the more she realizes this other woman is not the right choice for
Mm-hmm.
him. Clearly she is. But she's made this agreement with Aretha Franklin, and what is she going to do? Um,
Right.
and so, yeah, so it's just a sweet, fun, um, like all the favorite Christmas things, going to see Christmas
Yeah.
lights and
Yep.
Christmas farmers markets and fairs and sledding and just like
Just the
all the
things
fun,
that
like,
you want in Christmas.
yes,
Yeah.
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 But at the same time, there's a deeper part too. Whitney is really, she's a little bit insecure, and
Mm-hmm.
everything that she starts, she doesn't finish. Like
Okay.
yeah, she's tried everything, it feels like, and she keeps, like, she's dropped out of school so many times, and she's
Okay.
done this and tried that and only stuck with it for a month, and she's just never really been able to go after her dream because she
Yeah.
can't put a finger on what her dream is. She doesn't
Oh.
know what
Okay.
she
Yeah.
wants.
Well,
And
that's
along comes, like, Daniel, who's really
uh-huh.
driven and very, like, he understands numbers but not people.
Gotcha.
And he is he's very much like, well, what do you want to do? And she can't name it.
Can't name
But
it.
together they spend a lot of time just trying to figure out kind of what yeah, like their
Yeah.
purpose in life and
Yeah.
what God has for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super fun. Super fun. Now, I know with Christmas books too, a lot of times they're novellas, but this is actually a
Yes.
full-length novel, correct?
It is a short novel. It's
Uh-huh.
about 250 pages.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so it'll be a quick read, but it still has plenty of meat.
It's
Yeah.
a fun Christmas read that's a little bit longer than a short story.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Well, I mean, Christmas is a busy time, and
It
so
is.
sometimes it's hard to find time for, those 500-page novels. So it's like,
True.
okay,
True,
what,
true.
yeah, so this one's pretty light. It'll fit in your purse, and you can, as you're out and about,
Yeah.
picking up kids in the, in
Parking lot
school
waiting for
line
them to
or
come.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And read
yeah.
it. That's so fun. And it's available now, right? Like we can
It
order
is
it and
available now. Yes.
grab it. Okay, awesome.
Yes.
So here's another question with that then. If I haven't read the Red Door trilogy leading
Yeah.
up to this, is that going to be a problem or can I pick this up, read it, and then go back and read the others
You
later?
can absolutely read this as a standalone.
Okay.
You do not need to be familiar with the Red Door Inn at all, or the characters there. Like,
Hmm.
you'll absolutely get a sense of who they are. I've had a lot of readers, all early readers of this book already say, "Oh, this is my first of your books, but I totally followed along and it was so great. And now I want to go back and read the other
Yeah.
ones." So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's fun. It's fun when you have kind of a community in a book and you have crisscross characters that have cameos, but
Mhm.
each book is still around
Yeah.
a specific set so that you can, like you said, pick them up out of order if necessary.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, clearly I've spoiled the ending of the Red Door Inn in this book in terms of, like, the romance.
Oh,
But
sure.
I
Yeah.
write romances, so I don't think anybody's super surprised
I was gonna
when
say, I don't know. I mean, I think the spoiler would be if you don't have a happily ever after, and
right.
all of a sudden you're like, the two people on the cover actually don't get together. That
I
would
can
be a
assure
spoiler.
you that will never happen in my book. No.
You're too much of a romantic, Liz.
I
I should write a
am.
romance novel. I'll
Yes,
write
you
one,
should.
and then it'll be full of twists, and people will never buy another Jamie Jo Wright romance novel.
No, I would love to read that. I would love to read them. Oh my gosh, that
That'd
would
be a
be
little
amazing.
weird. That would be weird. But all right, so we're talking Christmas. We're talking Christmas novels. We're talking meddling with mistletoe.
Mhm.
And so I have to ask you, what is your favorite part about Christmas?
Oh, wow. Oh,
I know, nothing like an on the spot question to make you think.
yes. I should have been prepared for that question.
I didn't give you any preparation.
I think that there's so many things that I love about Christmas. I love spending time with family,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a time where I usually the whole family's together, all the nieces and nephews,
Yeah.
and I get to see it and spend time with everybody. I One of my love languages is gift giving.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my key ones.
Mm-hmm.
But more than anything, I like giving the gift.
Yeah.
Like I like watching somebody else open a
Yeah.
gift that I have thought about and prepared for them, and especially if it's homemade or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. So I think that's one of my favorite parts about Christmas is just our family has always we don't do the everybody dives in and opens presents
Right.
all at once.
No.
We do one at a time and we go around
Yes.
and it takes hours,
Yes.
but it's so worth it. And
I'm
that's, I
so
think,
with you on that.
yes.
I'm 100% with you on that. My family, it's like, and you don't just like rip open the paper and go, oh, it's this from my mom and
Yeah.
move on. It's like, oh, why did you get this? What was your
Right.
thought process?
Yes.
And the
Yes.
meaning and the story. And my poor husband,
Yes.
his family was the dive in. And he's like,
Mhm.
it took us 3 hours to open presents. 3 hours. And every present has a novel attached to it.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, who wants to open presents and be done in 5 minutes? Like, you wait for this the entire year. You've got to
Right.
savor the moments.
Yes. Our family absolutely has to have a dessert break in the middle of opening presents. Like we have
Oh, I
lunch,
love your family.
then we start opening presents, and about 2 hours in, it's like, okay, are we ready for some cookies? Like, who's got pie? Like,
Will you adopt me?
they're a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. I really
I
love
was
it.
gonna say it sounds like an awful lot of fun. You know,
Yeah.
my in-law family, who I am very fond of, so don't take this as a negative. They did something about, gosh, maybe 5 years after I married into the family, and they used to do this thing where, granted, it was a fairly large family, so they're like, we'll draw names with the adults, right? So you don't have
Mm,
to buy a present for every single
yeah.
adult. That gets expensive. So I understood that. Then they nixed the adult gifts altogether. My children have been raised in an environment where only children get presents, and even then the children draw the names of the other child that they're going to give so it's like one present that you give, because there's like 12 grandkids. Okay, I'm
Sure.
okay getting 12 gifts. I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
It's more fun that way, and I like to give
Yes.
presents.
Yes.
And I don't even get to get presents from my sister-in-laws anymore or my brother-in-laws. It's sad. It's Christmas has become mournful.
Oh no, that makes me sad.
I know.
You know
So,
what I'm
in-law family, if you're listening to this podcast, hint, hint. Oh,
Oh, yeah, that would make me really sad too.
it is. It's kind of a letdown. I'm like, what's the point? Let's not even bother with Christmas anymore. Let's just
Yeah, if
skip.
it's only about the kids,
I know. Let's just like, skip straight to the 4th of July. Just throw some
Yeah.
fireworks in the air or something. But oh, funny, funny. All right, so everybody needs to rush out and get this because then you will have it. So if you don't want to read it now, you get it, then you have it, and you can read it the day after Thanksgiving when all Christmas becomes mandatory.
Yes. Yes. Or if you like to break the rules and start reading, before Halloween, like nobody will judge you for that. Like just to be
No,
clear,
right.
there
No,
won't,
there's no
you
judgment.
yeah. You don't have to read it in hiding, I guess is what I'm saying. It's
This
not
is
like you
true.
have to be like, oh no, I'm reading a spooky book. Although you
Right.
should probably be reading, Jamie Jo's books.
Or maybe you need that Christmas book right about now.
Or yes, if you need something that's a little, and by a little less, I mean like totally not spooky at all, that would be my book.
This is your,
Like,
there are certain readers that will specifically skip the Halloween season and go straight to the Christmas books. And I am
yes,
totally fine with that.
yes. And I think there's something about the escapism of like
Yeah,
getting to go to Christmas.
there
And
is.
especially this year has been ridiculously hot in Arizona. And I've
Mm,
heard from other friends in
hmm
other states as well that it's been very warm,
Yeah,
and see, unusually warm this summer.
yeah.
Arizona has had, I think we're at 110 days over 100 degrees in a row in Phoenix.
No.
And so I'm kind of tired of the heat at this point, and I'm looking for an escape. And
I'm
so
going
for
to
me,
cut up some paper snowflakes and mail them to
yes.
you.
Oh, we could use them.
I bet.
We're
You probably need rain too,
Yes.
I suppose.
But there is something about reading a Christmas book this time
Yeah.
of year that,
hmm
like, okay, even though I can't physically be in the snow, I can
hmm
imagine, and then it will hopefully help me,
Right.
deal with the next, month more that we have of heat.
Well, and you can always turn the air conditioner way down and then
Right?
get out the buffalo plaid quilts
Yes.
and feel
Yes.
like
And
it's winter.
fuzzy slippers,
Fuzzy slippers. Yeah.
and then I want a warm drink and
Right.
not like a, yeah,
Exactly. Just
yeah.
just just don't go outside and get the mail.
No, no, do not do that. I highly don't recommend. I ran an errand yesterday when I was at my day job, and
hmm
um I asked my boss, I said, "Would you like a soda, like a big, cold drink from the
hmm
gas station?" And she said, "Yes, very much." And I said, "Okay, me too. I'm going to
hmm
run over there." And I was gone for like 7 minutes, and it was miserable. Like, it was
Oh,
so hot outside. And I was just like, "Why do we live here?" Who decided this was a great idea? So yes, so I am a fan of cold places and getting to snuggle up, and I think
hmm
that that's like, yeah,
It's
I
the
love that
epitome of a
about reading
Christmas
a Christmas
novel.
book. It's like
Yeah.
you feel like you can get snuggled up.
No, totally agree. All right.
Yeah.
Well, everybody needs to run out and get it. Meddling with Mistletoe.
Mhm.
I got that right.
Yep.
And if they want to follow up about you, sign up for your newsletter so they could stay in touch and see all the good, fun news. Where do they
Yeah.
go?
Yeah. I would love it if they stop by my social media. I
hmm
am at Liz Johnson Books on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
And my website is lizjohnsonbooks.com.
Okay.
And you can sign up for my newsletter there. I send like maybe 8 to 10 a year.
Mhm.
So not even once a month. But I usually have a giveaway in my newsletters and share, all sorts of information about my releases, but also my favorite books that I'm reading
Yeah.
and some of my other favorite authors.
Super fun. Super fun. All right. So everybody needs to rush out and do that. That's your homework for this week. Get the book, get ready, get hyped for Christmas, and be sure you grab an extra copy for your friend too.
It does make a really great gift.
They
Books in
do.
general, I'll just say, make great
They do.
gifts.
They
Yeah.
do. They really do. Well, thanks, Liz, for being with us, and we'll have you back, I'm sure.
I look forward to it every time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining Madlit Musings, where every conversation is a journey and every book is a new adventure. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast player or check us out on YouTube, and let's explore the fascinating intersection of faith, society, and storytelling together.